If you need some small bedroom decorating ideas, you're gonna love this video. Hey there, it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com. I am so excited today because I get to share with you the first room makeover completely finished in our tiny lake house. In case you're new here, we're renovating a tiny 467 square foot cabin by a lake for our family to use and for us to turn into our second vacation rental. Special thanks to Ruggable for sponsoring today's video. Let's get started. Ruggable rugs are machine washable rugs, and in this makeover, I am going to feature the Maya Soft Black Rejute rug in the 6x9 size. So here is how the little bedroom in our tiny lake house looked originally. What we did was we completely gutted this because we had to re-insulate it and do a whole bunch of things. So we changed it from the original floor plan, which was this one with 2 bedrooms, no bathroom, into this layout. So now we moved this main bedroom from the top right-hand side to the middle of the house. My husband Sean did a whole bunch of framing. We got everything insulated. So now we are at the drywall stage. So Sean's beginning by drywalling and mudding the whole bedroom. Next, I'm taking some primer and priming all of the walls in the bedroom. And then I'm using this paintable wallpaper. I found it on Amazon. I will leave it in the description box below. I'm using this beadboard look wallpaper instead of actual beadboard because I want to do 5-foot high beadboard look paneling, and generally it only comes in 4 feet high. Plus, this is also a more affordable way to make a beadboard look panel. I'm cutting it to size, and then I'm pulling it through a tray of water because this is pre-pasted, and then I'm applying it onto the wall to about the 5-foot mark. I'm using a laser level to make sure that I have this in the right spot. Once I've applied the wallpaper, I just use a rag and I push it all into place, making sure that all of those air bubbles are out. And then if I have to cut out any electrical covers like this one, I sort of make an eye shape and then pull the piece out. Now for the top third of this wall, I'm using this beautiful sort of olive green floral and cream wallpaper. I found this at Home Depot. Again, I will link to this and everything I'm using in this makeover in the description box below, using a square and cutting this to size. So the thing about patterned wallpaper is you do kind of waste a little bit because you have to match the pattern from one piece to the other. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing patterned wallpaper. I want to keep this room light and bright. Originally, I was thinking of making it darker, but then when I saw that this room was only 8'6" by 9'6", which is smaller than your standard bedroom, I knew I had to keep it in the light tones. But to make it more interesting, I wanted to add this wallpaper feature. Here are all my leftovers of the wall, and I think I did a pretty good job even matching it up in my final corner. Now we're taking some shiplap. This is shiplap by Matree, similar to what we used in our first little lake house. This one's pre-painted, so it's a lot easier. And I'm installing this on the ceiling in the bedroom. I love the coastal, sort of rustic cottage look of shiplap, and Sean is helping me with a hole saw cut out the spots for the electrical in the ceiling. Now I'm taking some white paint. This one is Ultra Pure White by Behr, and I'm painting the wallpaper to make sure it's exactly the same color as my trim. As for flooring, I am using Divine Flooring Luxury Vinyl Plank. I love the color of this and the fact that it comes in 3 different widths. I thought it was so beautiful. It was a little bit of a splurge for this cabin. We're trying to keep everything budget friendly. But I did splurge a little bit on the floor because I love this type of floor in our first rental, and I feel like floors get a lot of wear and tear, so I wanted to make sure I had a good quality luxury vinyl plank. It's really easy to install, so I'm doing this in about half a day. We salvaged and kept the original crown molding from our first Little Lake house makeover, and we're using it in this renovation. So I love that we were able to save money by doing this, plus use some material that we already had on hand. And we're kind of just piecing some things together. Sean's pretty good at these angles. And then I'm just taking some caulking and some paint to fill in all the cracks and make everything match. We also are reusing the baseboard for that renovation. So we stored that and we're reusing it for this cabin, again, to save money and be a little bit eco-friendly. Now I'm just trimming out the window, and we decided to do sort of a craftsman farmhouse look with the trim a little bit wider on the top and bottom. And I'm using a finishing nailer to nail that in place. I'm also caulking and painting all of the trim and doing all those finishing touches, which takes so much longer than planned, but I feel like it makes such a difference for the end room look. I'm reusing the original casing from this cabin and using it as a trim that's going to go between the two wallpapers. Ruggable rugs are such a fantastic idea because you can take the whole top off and throw it in the washing machine. So I think this rug is perfect for a vacation rental that's going to see a lot of pets, that's going to see a lot of families and children. It's easy to spot clean, it's easy to pick up and wash whenever we need it. We're going to be using 3 Ruggable rugs in our vacation rental, this one in the bedroom, plus one in the living room and one in the hallway too. If you want to get 10% off your own Ruggable rug, use my code TheDIYMommy10, and I'll leave a link down in the description box below. Ruggable rugs come with this backing piece. It's almost like a Velcro-like backing. It's anti-slip. And then they have the top piece. So you can actually interchange the top piece if you feel like you want a whole new different rug. How I put mine together is I lay down that backing first, and then I roll up that top piece with the inside facing out, place it over top of the backing, and then unroll it just like this. And then after I unroll it, I just smooth out any little wrinkles or any little bubbles with my hands. The top piece overlaps the back piece so you don't see that bottom piece, and I absolutely adore this pattern. I think it's so fun playing with the wallpaper and the other patterns that I'm going to have in this space. I'll link to the Ruggable rug that I picked out down in that description box below. This one is from the Rejude series, so it's definitely easy to clean. For the bed, we found this one on Wayfair. It was a clearance bed, so I got a pretty good deal on it. I just wanted a nice vintage cottage look bed, and this one was perfect. We just barely fit a queen size bed in here, but I thought that was important for the comfort of this space. This mattress is a memory foam mattress that had some fantastic reviews, so I thought I would give it a try in here. It actually expands after 72 hours. I will link this one down in the description box below. Okay, so I have the rug in and I already got some caulking on it. I was just trying to finish off this baseboard. So this is actually a good opportunity for me to see how this actually washes if I just want to spot clean it. So I'm just taking just a rag with some water on it and then just giving it a nice rub. And there we go. It's like it never happened. There was an amazing looking vintage screen door on the back of the cabin when we bought it. So I asked Sean to keep it and store it in the garage because I wanted to reuse it somehow in the cabin renovation. I love the color, I love the little doorknob detail. So I'm just taking my sander and I'm sanding away all of the extra paint and everything. After I sanded it, I did just give it a coat of clear polyacrylic. Now Sean's taking his drill and he's drilling some holes in the top 2 corners of the door. I bought some barn door hardware from Home Depot, and he's just attaching that to the door just like this. Then we just grabbed a piece of 1x6 and placing the rest of the barn door hardware on that. And now we're just installing this over the utility door in the bedroom. It's a bit of an awkward layout because we kind of had to deal with some quirky things in this tiny cabin, but we do have this utility room that I want to cover up with the barn door. I found this acrylic at Home Depot as well, and rather than paying for an expensive mirror, I thought I could put this inside of the screen part of the door. I'm removing all of the old trim, and then I'm also removing the old screen. Now I'm taking that acrylic and marking it to the size of the hole and then cutting it to size. I'm taking some silicone, applying that around the edge of the screen, and then placing the acrylic on top. And then finally, I'm taking that old trim and I am putting it back on this screen insert with my finishing nail gun. Then I put that screen insert back in the door and I'm hanging this barn door. I love that I was able to reuse an original part of this cabin. Now I'm taking a curtain rod and I'm installing it high up above the window. You know that I like those floor to ceiling length curtains to make rooms feel nice and tall. And I'm using some room darkening drapes. I have learned I definitely have to use room darkening drapes in a vacation rental. I found one Tarva nightstand at IKEA, and then they didn't have a second one, so I found a second one on Facebook Marketplace. I'm gonna use these for nightstands. So this is the new one, and this was the one from Facebook Marketplace. I have this pole wrap that I bought at Home Depot last year, and I had a little bit of it left, so I'm going to use it to add a little bit of detail to the fronts of the drawers. I'm taking some wood glue and just applying that all over the front of each of the drawers of the nightstands, and then I cut the pole wrap to size with my miter saw, and I'm applying that to the top of the drawers. I didn't quite have enough leftover pole wrap to cover the whole width of the drawer, so that I just cut some extra with a craft knife and I'm applying that to this extra edge. Now I'm just putting something heavy on top to make that set. I'm taking my spray gun and I'm using the same exact color of paint that we used on the exterior of the cabin. It's called Alpine Trail. It's a beautiful deep green and I think it's gonna look beautiful on these nightstands and add a little punch of color to the space. Paint sprayers are a fantastic way to spray irregular surfaces like these drawer fronts. I found these poles on Amazon and I am just attaching them to the front of each of the nightstands. Really, really easy to use, and I love how they have this modern look. I also found this drawer liner at the dollar store and I'm applying that to the inside bottom of the drawers. Now there's really no space in this room for any sort of clothing storage. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding a floating shelf to the wall right on this side here, and then adding this rod underneath. I'm putting baskets on top of the shelf for people to put their clothes if they want to unpack, and then the rod will be for robes for people, and it's also going to be for clothing. These baskets I already had on hand and they happen to be the perfect size for this shelf. I love this light fixture. It has a vintage vibe to it, and Sean is installing that on the ceiling. And then I found these ones. They're just some plug-in wall sconces on Amazon, and I'm installing those on either side of the bed. I made this throw pillow with some fabric that I purchased from fabric.com, and I love how it ties the wallpaper into the space. Okay, so as a reminder, here is how the original little bedroom looked in our tiny lake house. And here it is now. I am so proud of this tiny little bedroom makeover. I truly love how it turned out. It has that vintage cottage look that I was hoping for, plus it still feels light and bright, even though it is super duper tiny. I love how the pattern on the rug plays with the pattern of the wallpaper, which plays with that giant check pillow. And even though there's no room for a closet in here, we have a little bit of clothing storage and lots of simple charm. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed this bedroom makeover. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. I am so happy with it. We put so much work into this and it's just so nice to see this room finished. Stay tuned for more room makeovers from this cabin. We're raring to go and finish this off. So every couple weeks or so, I will share with you a new makeover. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more DIY and decor ideas on a budget. Don't forget to use my code, the DIY Mommy 10, for 10% off your Ruggable rug. I'll leave a link to those down in the description box below.